as the best outgoing student of the batch. He has a brilliant academic career from his school days, and he is continuing with same excellence and brilliant track record till today. After finishing his BE in Biotechnology, he completed his Master Programme in Membrane Engineering under Erasmus Mundus Masters Scholarship amounting to 48,000 euros, approximately 34 lakhs, during 2012 to 2014. At present, he is pursuing doctoral program in membrane engineering, again under Erasmus Mundus Fellowship amounting 1,29,900 euros, approximately rupees 1 crore, which is extended for 3 years. Syed Usman claims to be the youngest to top the global rank. Has won numerous awards and honors to his credit during his student days.
Now I would request Mr. Syed Usman to speak a few words to our final year students.
Good morning, one and all. Fortunately or unfortunately, I will not be speaking few words. I have been given time till 12:30, so let's see how the session goes. First and foremost, I am highly delighted, overwhelmed and humbled by all the graciousness PA College has showered upon me, and I thanks to you all for giving me such a brilliant opportunity to share a few words on this common platform. I am extremely proud being an alumnus of PA College of Engineering, and I also thank the person who welcomed me with all showering of brilliant words. I have no words to express more. So coming back to the topic, it's always great to be here, and the last time I remembered I was on this stage with this mic is I think so in July 2012 during the farewell speech, and you all know farewell speeches are always emotional. That's the time to depart, and I just remember one small quoting or two I had quoted that आपके बिछड़े तो शायद कभी ख्वाबों में मिले, आपके बिछड़े तो शायद कभी ख्वाबों में मिले, जिस तरह सूखे हुए फूल किताबों में मिले. Now that 3 years are over, I'm truly blessed, and I thank the Almighty, the elders, my parents' efforts, and all the teachers who have groomed me personally, professionally, and spiritually. So again, I thank you all for this wonderful session. Coming back to the topic, first few minutes I'll be discussing about the title which says Chasing Tomorrow. Does anybody know the title of this Chasing Tomorrow? Anybody who is a fan of Sidney Sheldon? No one? This is the latest novel which was as a part of the Sidney Sheldon's edition. The topic says beautiful, that you always have to chase tomorrow, and to chase tomorrow you need to act in the present, and to act in the present your past efforts will always be counted. So moving further, let's come directly to the topic, India. Why I say that India is at the crossroads is because it can neither be called a developed country because it lacks in some infrastructure. It cannot be totally called as an underdeveloped country because you have beautiful cities, and in a short while hopefully there will be smart cities as well. It can definitely not be called entirely as a developing country because we are rich in heritage, in technical abilities and human resources. And let's see if we can achieve the dream of being a developed nation by 2020. For that, let me give a brief introduction about the background of our economy. During the independence time in 1947, India was a purely agricultural driven economy because India has more than 7 lakh villages, and all the economy was basically or majorly by the agricultural industry. But you see that there is a shift in the paradigm, that from agricultural driven economy we moved on to industrial driven economy, and with IT and communication and other sectors we are now a strong technology driven economy. But what we need to achieve is that we should be a knowledge driven economy. Driving factors to improve our economy. But now that we see technology based economy, wherein we need to improve our, hence comes the goal that we need to transfer our technology asset, and this would result in knowledge economy. What is the economy is that when you see the world outside, through the knowledge that we can achieve of being a challenging economy only by having a knowledge capitalism, wherein we would convert our knowledge capitalism into something which can be resulting into equity, pervasive and powerful. For this, according to Census 2011, we see that India, because we see that 38.8% of Indians are below 40 years, which means that we are growing young into a better country to live. For that, we see convert the human resources. We should convert, and for which the resulting would be a knowledge asset. What drives every country is economy, and we should be knowledge is totally linked to globalization, and for this change. Speaking of globalization, what is the two major knowledge intensive? And we should know that knowledge is portable. Why? Because knowledge is in our brain. Factors that affect the globalization are, first, it results in equity, and second, it results in reaction. But finally, it comes to a change. See, if we have to progress, change is inevitable. But if there is no change, then there is no progress. And based on a great philosopher, Henry Steele Comaker, he says that education is essential to change, for education creates both new bonds and ability to satisfy them. And often it defies logic. Change is complicated and complex. Change disrupts our routines. Change challenges our assumptions. And change is definitely stressful. For which, coming to these three things, if we are able to create knowledge, globalize our thoughts, and adapt faster for change, we would result in a knowledge society. Speaking of the dynamics, change, we should have a change in the mindset. We should have change in attitude. We should have change in perception. What do I mean by change in mindset? For example, if you're just walking on a road and if you ask a common man, what is India? He would probably say that India is a country of 1.27 billion population with 1.27 million problems. That's the mindset. What would be the change is that we should change in our attitude. If we engineers, if we educated class, if we are asked, what is India? We would have to say that India is a country of 1.27 billion population, but India is a place where we have 1.27 million opportunities and not problems. Wherein the third thing would result in the change in perception. I'm not trying to bore you people, but we engineers should realize what is the importance of knowledge in our society. If we are dreaming of India to be big, we cannot become big unless and until we have something called as a knowledge-driven economy. And for that, we should have a change in our perception. Change in perception means the change in our values, change in our mission, and change in our vision. What are the indicators of change? Well, if at all you are in a process where a change is involved, and if you're anxious, if there is anxiety, then be rest assured that that will lead to a failure. On contrary, if there's a process of change and you feel excited about it, then it will surely result in success. Internal exams was going on. I had missed the first internals due to some health issues. I answered second internals, it was bioprocess calculations. Any of the biotechnology students here? Wonderful. I don't see any boys here. No biotech boys? Okay, mechanical boys? That's the strength. Well, coming back to my thing, that in 5th semester, I had given my second internals. I remember it was bioprocess calculations, and I scored 25. And in the third internals, in the second internals I had scored 24. And third internals, I had to score 25 if I had to get 25, because average would result in 25, because 24 and 25, naturally becomes 25. So for which I had to answer all the questions correctly. And it was Renault sir's subject, and he is very strict with the units. So speaking of anxiety, I remember that, I don't remember which particular thing, either it was kinematic viscosity or something. There was some confusion in the units. Now I had to know the unit correctly if I had to get 25, because I was very much confident about the other answers. So the only thing is, I had to ask people, but asking is cheating. I was anxious. So I just turned back and what one of my classmates said to me, she is now the faculty of biotechnology, a very hardworking student. I was very confident that she would guarantee know the answer. Thanks to my vocal cord, the bass volume is always high. And Reena ma'am, now she's not here, I believe in PA college, she was there. I just turned back and I asked, unit of, I think so it was viscosity, unit of kinematic viscosity. I whispered to the lowest volume possible, but the entire class had heard it. Everybody turned their faces and Reena ma'am, Usman, I didn't expect this from you. So what is this? I was anxious. It's a process of change, and a change will result in progress, but not necessarily that all the changes will result in progress. I was anxious. What leads to anxiety for a change? It can be two things. Either you're doing something wrong, morally, ethically, socially, or whatever reasons. Either you are doing something wrong, which will result in anxiety, or second thing is you are having lack of confidence. The first problem, there is no solution. Doing wrong is doing wrong. You students have to accept it. You cannot commit mistakes. You cannot go against the laws of nature or laws of society. But the second problem is lack of confidence. There is a solution. You need to improvise yourself and have the confidence building approach so that whatever the change may be, you will react with excitement. Once when you react the change with excitement, that will lead to success. And thus, for a success, we need to change in the mindset, in the attitude, and also in perception. If we ask what is change, what are these two things? Does anybody know? Okay, and where is it? Which Bollywood movie shooting was there? Exactly. Now coming back to the thing. What is this? Sun. What's happening here? The sun is rising. Correct? So do you mean that the sun rises from the bottom? No. Where does the sun rise from? From? East. And where does it set? Now coming back, any contradictions? Here I would like to draw your attention. We all know that sun doesn't rise from bottom to top. The sun doesn't, and you say that sun rises from east and it sets in west. But the main thing is, that's where we need to change our mindset. From time immemorial, we've been taught that in India, the sun sets in the west, it rises in the east. But that was a geocentric concept way back 800 years ago. Scientifically, does the sun rise and set? No, it's a helio concept, it's a heliocentric concept. The sun never rises and sets. In fact, the earth is rotating around, it's revolving around. That's the change of mindset. And in the 21st century, what would be my first take-home message is that literacy and literacy, they literally have no significance. What we need to know is that we need to learn the concepts, we need to unlearn the wrong concepts, and then we need to relearn the right concepts. That would result in a change, for which we engineers have a marvelous advantage. How do I say that? How can I say that I can prove it? See, if you carefully observe these slides, I can consider the left-hand side to be the students of the pure sciences, wherein they are fed with data, they are processing the information, and they are creating some knowledge based on their research or whatsoever. And these I could call as the polytechnic students or the diploma students or the ITI students, wherein the concept of skill is informed. But we engineers, we have both the things in hand. We have the skill component based on the laboratory classes, we have the theoretical components, and that results in knowledge. And finally, what I'm trying to say is that there is a diffusion of the skill concept and the theoretical concept, and we engineers, rest assured, we would be one of the main reasons for the development of country if we apply our knowledge along with the skills in the right direction. So it's necessary for us to feel that we engineers have responsibility. We have some duties. What duties and what responsibilities do we have? We have to fabricate. Speaking of science, what is science? It's nothing but just understanding the concepts. But we engineers, we should fabricate things and use technology as a utilization tool to bring India forward, to propel the future. and wherein the teaching would just be the dissemination of knowledge, but we should create a knowledge bank. We should not only teach, but we should be a source to have a rich knowledge bank. Speaking of knowledge, teaching and research, I remember just reading an article that Finland is a country wherein the professors, the teaching professions, they are paid the highest. The salary for teachers is the highest. You speak of Japan and you speak of America, the teachers are paid really good even at the root level. If I speak of root level, that means even the lower class students, higher class teachers, the professors at this level, all are paid really good. And India, I feel, is going in the right direction because my father happens to be in the UGC committee, and what we feel that in 2016, when there is revised 7th pay scale commission released, that time teacher salary would almost be doubled. So where I would like to draw attention is that unless and until we Indians do not concentrate on creating a knowledge bank, we cannot afford to be a knowledge-driven society. We cannot afford to propel forward in the right direction. We could be rich, but we cannot be developed. Money is different, but development and infrastructure is different concept. For which, if I have to speak of Japan, 1945, right? Which two cities were bombarded by Americans in Japan? And what was the status of Japan? It was totally destroyed, right? And where is Japan now in terms of GDP? It is third after America and China. One of the main reasons, I'm sure many would not be knowing, is that after the Americans bombarded Japan, the economy of Japan was just like miserable. How did they come up? How are they leading now in terms of technology, in terms of economy? Is that once when the economy was bombarded, since Japan had almost no money, they had a beautiful concept of coming back. What did they do? The Japanese, they reduced the salaries of all the government sectors to half. If any person in the government sector is being paid 1,000 rupees, his salary was just 500 rupees. But what did they do on contrary? They doubled the salary of those involved in teaching and research. That's the concept, that's the idea, and that's the resultant of their vision. Wherein they concentrated on teaching, they concentrated on research because they knew if they have to jump back, they should be the knowledge bank, because knowledge is a commodity that can be sold, and if you sell, you are definitely rich. Interestingly, the ex-President of India, Mrs. Pratibha Patil, she had given a speech in the joint session of Parliament wherein she had declared that in 2009, for next 10 years, India would dedicate itself for a decade of innovation. Already 5 to 6 years are over. We should realize where are we lying. The time is running by, but are we focusing on innovation? Coming to innovation, I would give a chocolate to a person who will answer all the three things rightly. What, tell me the name of the scientist who discovered penicillin and the scientist who invented light bulb and relativity. Raise your hand first and answer the question. Okay, the girl there. Who? I'm sorry, no. Who discovered penicillin? Raise your hand, please. I have the chocolates ready there. Raise your hand, come on. No murmuring. Biotech students there? Huh? Who is the scientist there who discovered penicillin by chance? Isn't it not Louis Pasteur? No? Okay, who invented light bulb? Who answered? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, also not give you chocolate. Nobody? Raise your hand. You might be right, tell me. Who invented light bulb? And who discovered the theory of relativity? Okay, I'll give you a chocolate there. The first mechanical student takes the first chocolate first. Coming to the discovery, it happened by chance. It was a serendipity, wherein the penicillin was discovered. Invention, why is it called invention? Because somebody had to use brains and they had to have some creativity and generate an idea. That was the light bulb. And theory of relativity, he spent many hours, many days in fact, to derive to this concept of relativity. But what's innovation? It's neither a discovery nor an invention. Innovation can be anything, right from academics to non-academics. The best example I could quote right now is the retail store. That was a transformation in economics, wherein the small shops we just wiped out. Everybody tends to go to a retail store, and statistics have proved that if you are in an environment where a lot of things are there, you surely will spend more than what you had planned. That's an innovative concept. So wherein we are in a situation wherein we have to focus on innovation and entrepreneurship, and for this the base would be education and research, wherein our university system will convert ourselves into knowledge capitalism, wherein we have to be prepared for the global competitiveness, and finally we should be an innovative student and most probably be an entrepreneur as well. Fast forwarding the slides, I'm sure you all would have learned in the subjects previously about entrepreneurship and all the and the model implied. But finally, what would be my take-home message is that the secret of success in the 21st century is no longer a person who is slow and steady, he would win the race. No, a person who can study harder but work smarter and adapt faster, he would be a successful person. Thank you. Both males and females, or just male students of their previous college would be called as alumni. Since I am a singular person, I am alumnus. Next topic would be for the person who answers correctly. What would be a single female alumnus called as? Similar concept for males. Any idea what would be an alumnus female called as? All these things I'm asking purposely because I'll tell you the later slides. Does anybody know? Anybody like to take a chance? Raise your hand and just say no problem. If you're wrong, I'll try to correct it. If you're given a crude answer, I'll try to refine it. If you're given the right answer, I'll give you a chocolate. Raise your hand. I can hear some good answers. Raise your hand. Let's see. Go for a chance. See, if you feel embarrassed, if you feel awkward, then you'll be left behind in this competitive world. I can see a girl there. Yes, tell me. Alumna, that's the right answer. Class 2 culture chocolates. Roshna. Claps for her, please, once again. Why did I ask about this is that at first I would directly focus on why English and not starting with the exams and other stuff. I'm directly coming straight away to the point, why English? Let me fast forward these slides about the statistics that English is required everywhere. Everywhere means everywhere. It's English, English and English. You can read the slides later on, I'll send you later on about the statistics and all the other stuffs. Just coming to the last question, that English as a phenomenon. Do we see ourselves as globally or locally for this English language? We are rich in cultural heritage, no doubt. But frankly speaking, who would be the biggest enemies of UK? Are these the colony countries, or are these the ones who fought wars for generations and generations? Definitely, if you go back to history, the biggest competitors, the biggest enemies would definitely be countries like France, Spain or Italy or Russia or whatsoever. Coming to the point why English is being so much focused is that if you speak of French, the capital is Paris, the capital of Portugal is Lisbon, and the ex-capital of Italy is Rome, and the famous city in Spain is Barcelona or whatsoever. My question here is, if those countries can call their capitals with English as Paris, Lisbon and Rome, why should we be left behind? That means they are also focusing in English. They have accepted the fact that English is a universal language and they are going forward for it. And the people who have studied French, they would know that Paris in French is not called as Paris, it's called as Paris. Lisbon in Portuguese is not called as Lisbon, it's called Lisboa. Rome in Italian is not called as Rome, it's called as Roma. But they have accepted the fact that English is required. English is a universal language. No doubt, if you go to the Latin America, it's all about the Spanish. What except for Brazil, which is the Portuguese. You go to North Africa, there is French. And if you go to the South Africa, there is English, there's also Portuguese. My next question is, coming to the history, we all know that. Why is that? Because you should be familiarized with almost all possible concepts or techniques. And if you have to improvise your English, it can be by three things. First thing is that you have to read. Second thing is study. And third thing is implement. If you go for reading, it can be either your journals, it can be the newspapers, it can be the books, novels, comics. You definitely cannot study a dictionary. An Oxford dictionary, you can only refer a dictionary. You will never study a dictionary. There can be many other books or other things, but what I personally suggest is that you all means all, must purchase this book. It's roughly around like 125-130 rupees. Almost same as some like a 40 cherry square ice cream. But you all should made easy. You can get it in Sapna bookstores or other bookstores. But definitely you all should study this book and implement yourself in tuning your organizational, your oratory skills. There are many other personal development programs. There are many other programs. One simple example is that you could also join this Toastmasters Club, because personally, what 3 of my friends in Mangalore already joined in Mysore as well, and I've seen a drastic improvement in their confidence. What I say is that if you have lack of confidence, you are anxious. If you are confident in your thoughts, in your speech, then it would result in excitement and an indicator for success. Rest assured, what the booksellers of the World Park made is not Toastmaster Club, they are not paying me to advertise them, but it's just a personal suggestion. You all might have some better suggestions, then please let me know. I can tell it for juniors in the afternoon. So coming to the most important session is that exams for abroad. Now since you are in the 4th year students, can you expand these? Raise your hand and you will get a chocolate. Any two of these. Do anybody know what's GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, IELTS? At least two. Yes? No one? Come on, give it a try. Okay, wonderful. For any other things? Any other exam, do you know the expansion? Any other? GMAT, TOEFL, IELTS? Go on. Wonderful. And what's GRE? Okay. Anybody can beat him? Okay. So there are 2 winners and I have the last 2 chocolates. Come on here. A very good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed a different event today because a lot of times we had speakers here. Speakers coming and talking to you about various career programs, some of your future programs. But today our speaker, being an alumnus of this college, will of course inspire some sparks inside you. Actually, Usman, when he told us a plan of coming to Mangalore, then we told him that we can't address our final year or also the 3rd year students. So what we would like to suggest to you students is, there are different kinds of students. When you heard Usman telling that I was trying for 24 or 25, then some of you might have decided that this is only for the category of those students who have got 24 or 25. I am a person who is struggling for 14 or 15 or 10 or 15, and the whatever is being told it is not applicable for me. But I would like to share some other students who, being an average student here, they have gone for scholarships. In mechanical itself, you can have many of your seniors. You may be sometimes knowing Nashid Abdul Nasser, who is doing his PG program in UK. Then our one more student, what was his name, who got Erasmus Mundus Scholarship from mechanical, Farousin Najib. They tried and they were able to get it. So those students, whether you are in the top 5% or 10%, or maybe you are an average student,
The example before you is because of your hard work and your attitude, as we told. So it's possible for everyone. So what we would like to suggest you, the students of final year, is that please set your goal, and those students who have planned for your higher studies, you can start your work now itself. Who have planned for your jobs,